Okay, book review time. Warhammer 40k Catachandevil by Justin Woolley. Pretty good read. I don't know if I would recommend it if you're new to 40k. Maybe look up some Lutean lore videos on orcs, the Imperial Guard, Catachan jungle fighters. 40k Theories did a decent 40 facts about the Catachan jungle fighters. Do a little research into this one before you go into it so you're not completely lost. That being said, it was a very good read. The story centers around a new Imperial Guard conscript, Trooper Torvin, who's with a completely different unit. His unit was sent to hold this outpost. They get overrun by orcs, and he's ordered back to report it and accused of cowardice in the process. Rather than killing him, the commissar gives him a chance to prove he's not a coward. And for those that don't know what commissars are, they're political officers. Their job is to quote unquote keep morale, but really, most of them, with the exception of like Caiaphas Cain, hero of the Imperium, are complete psychopaths. Their idea of keeping morale is, I don't like the way you tied your bootstraps. Die. They can pretty much shoot you for the slightest infraction. If you're running towards the enemy and you take a couple steps back to go this way because you see a better avenue of attack, even though you're stepping back in a way that's clear, it's so you have the intent to go further, the commissar will still most likely shoot you for those 2 steps back. So he's lucky he had a somewhat moderate commissar, I guess, who just didn't kill him. Although the commissar almost did, but the general, I believe it was, actually was like, we have no proof he's a commissar. So the commissar sets him with Colonel Alden's 57th Catachan Jungle Fighters. And it's a story of, it's kind of a fish out of water story in a lot of ways. This main character, he was part of the Imperial Tithe. He was drafted into the military. He was gonna get married. And part of the movie, the book, is him getting over his past life, accepting it's not gonna come back. He carries a picture of the girl he was gonna marry with him, and he gets put with the Catachan jungle fighters in. Okay, to give you a frame of reference for what the jungle fighters are like, they're a whole army that is basically a cross between the squad from Predator and Rambo, and this is Colonel Alden on the cover here. So it's also, to that degree, it's like, imagine a soldier fresh out of basic training getting thrown in a combat situation with a unit of Green Berets. And we see him struggle to find himself as a soldier, with the added pressure of, if I prove to be a coward, they're going to kill me. And now not only do I have to prove I'm not a coward, but I have to prove myself to some of the toughest soldiers in the galaxy. And it was really well done. Like, you understand his point of view, where he's coming from, but yet you also understand Colonel Alden's frustration with him. It completely makes sense that he would be this frustrated with this draftee that was not from Catachan, that does not know their ways. Catachan is a fierce jungle planet where every day is a just fight to survive. There's a creature on the planet called the catachandevil. It's like a cross between a centipede and a scorpion, only it wrestles with tanks. Yeah, that thing, they're brutal. So that's the type of environment these people have. The weak are just left to die. It's the catachan way, and it's a great interplay between these two characters and a man letting go of his old life and embracing his new life. We also get the point of view through an orc character because they're fighting orcs in this book. And this was really well done too, because like orcs can be humorous in 40K. I mean, they're literally powered by positive thought, and if enough of them believe painting a vehicle red makes it go faster, it will in fact go faster. And they do capture the humor of the orcs, but at the same time, when you put the orcs in battle against people, they show how terrifying orcs can be in battle. So they struck that really nice balance that's not easy to do with orcs. It's easy to write the scenes with them so comedic that it just feels out of place when you see them in battle, but this one struck the nice balance. The Colonel even has a nice character arc himself. His daughter's in his unit, and he had just lost a son, and even though in the Imperium, dying for the Emperor is believed to be the greatest honor you can hope to achieve in life, the Colonel is balanced between being a good citizen of the Imperium, being a good soldier where you kind of, men are going to die, you can't dwell over it, and being a father who doesn't want to see his only remaining kid die. And that whole thing, it even had a really nice payoff. The characters are really well written, and it's really, like I said, it's about the interplay between the characters, whether it's Alden's growing frustration with Torvin, Alden actually taking a little mercy and asking a soldier to look after him, and some of the antagonistic scenes between him and the soldiers, where one is like, this blade is coated with a poison, I could kill you, and Torvin finally snaps, headbutts the guy, and fights him. There's a scene where during a battle, a couple of the soldiers get killed, but Alden is so impressed with how Torvin handles himself, he takes the bandana off one of the dead soldiers and presents it to him. And later in the book, Torvin remarks like he doesn't even have the picture of the girl he was going to marry with him, and how this bandana is now his most prized possession. He even gets offered by the Colonel, you know what, we spent too much time, shaping you into a halfway decent soldier, so when this is over, why don't you join up with us? And I do like the fact, too, that he earned enough respect that he's, like, giving him his choice. You could go back to your nothing regiment and just be another face in the crowd, or you could join my squad. I could be your colonel. You have an invitation to become one of us, which is something Catachan wouldn't do lightly. They refer to people from other planets as soft worlders, and one nice thing I like is this book, at the beginning of it, you see the name of the character you're focusing on, and this chapter is Torvin, and something happens. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but it leads you to believe Torvin may or may not die at the end of the chapter, but this is the orc characters chapter. No other chapter in the rest of the book has his name, so you can't just, okay, let me look to the back and see if this main character survives. In the final chapter is Alden. So that was a really nice touch. In the way it ends, whoever may or may not live, it feels like this might be setting up for a series of books, which I'm absolutely on board with reading more about these guys, or what's left of them at the end of the book. I give catachandevil a solid A. I'm subtracting a few points because it's not the most newcomer friendly, but if you look up a few lore videos on YouTube on the orcs in 40k, on the Imperial Guard, and most importantly on the Catachan jungle fighters, I think you should be able to go into it fine then. But if you know nothing about 40k, get one of the Caiaphas Cain books. They're more, beginner friendly. So like, share, comment, subscribe, over and out.